This is Alex from Epsilon3 here today to demonstrate the new Epsilon3 scheduling tool. So from the Epsilon3 app, if you come down to the schedule tab on the left here, the first place you'll land is your empty schedule. So let's go ahead and add some events. There are two ways to add events to your schedule. You can import events, and this supports CSV import. CSVs can be exported from most other common scheduling tools, or we can create events manually. So for now, let's go ahead and click New Event. From here, we can fill out some basic details. We'll call this our first event. We can go ahead and add a description if we like. Then we specify the start and end time in UTC. Let's call this one All Day Today. Next up, we can select an Epsilon3 procedure that will run as part of this event, and then we can even specify a particular section of that procedure that we want to run. Next, we can specify a swim lane for this event. Swim lanes are essentially a way to group similar events together. And we can also set this to be a recurring event if we like. So right now, this will be a single one-off event, but if we want it to repeat, we can set a frequency here. The options are yearly, monthly, weekly, or daily. And then for each of these, there's a number of configurations we can make. So for instance, if we wanted this to be a quarterly event, we could say it'll happen every 3 months on a particular day of the month, or we can use these more complex rules to say something like quarterly on the last Friday. Next, we can set the end criteria. Recurring events can either go indefinitely, end after a certain number of executions, or end on a specific date. For now, let's just have this be a one-off event. Next, there's this freeform notes field we can use to add whatever text we like to our event, and this supports all standard Markdown. And finally, we can set event dependencies. And this is a powerful tool we can use to link events together to specify an ordering in which events are supposed to occur. So if we wanted first event to always occur after another, we could set that as a parent of this event. So now let's go ahead and create our simple event. See, it appears here on our calendar. To see a more built-out schedule, we can hop back in time to a sample launch schedule that I've prepared. So here we just have some sample events for illustrative purposes. And we can see how those swim lanes work. So when you add a swim lane to an event, it will group it with other events in the same swim lane like this. And then we can use that to consolidate events that we don't necessarily need to see. So we can go ahead and collapse these two swim lanes and just focus on these other two down here. Also from this view, we can use Control Scroll to zoom in and out and see different zoom levels, or we can use this Snap To selector up here to select a fixed zoom level. We can also scroll back and forth in time, scroll down to see all our events laid out in this format. And other than this Gantt view, if we want to see our events in other formats, we can also skip to a list view here, get this nice linear list of all our events, or a more traditional calendar view here. From any of these views, we can go ahead and click on an event. We'll see a pop-up modal that shows some of the basic details of this event. We can click Details here or double-click the event to arrive back at our event details screen. And finally, we can use this selector here to jump to a specific date of interest. And if the current day is within our selected date range, we can click the Now button to jump to the current time. And this has been a basic overview of the new Epsilon3 scheduling tool.